Hey guys, always here. You might know me better as Brawlmosh on the Classic forums. You might even know me from playing on War Mystic Cord with me. So this is what I look like, I guess. Some of you already knew that, but I've had to remake this video several times now to try to get things, more, more concise. So I want to talk specifically about right-click reporting and why I think it's a bad thing for the community. Punkdrat already, was browsing the forums and read one of my comments about it actually on his video. Thanks for the exposure, I guess. But really got me thinking more about this, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I've always had a strong feeling, as I've seen the Classic community discuss this stuff and talk over the years and the hype and stuff as we've gotten announced as official Legacy servers, that Blizzard wants to prevent another Diablo Immortal situation. Now, what do I mean by that? They're trying to prevent a situation where there's such huge public backlash against a product that, that the shareholders get, pissed off. And shareholders hold a lot more sway over a shareholder holds a lot more sway over a company than any of their consumers ever will. It's just the nature of the beast. I guess we should have been buying stock in Blizzard years ago, I guess. Maybe we could have stopped all of this. We wouldn't be talking about trying to revive the old game, because the old game would still exist, you know what I mean? But that's besides the point. I've got tons of opinions on the game, Blizzard Classic in general. I tend to make a lot of videos with better editing. I have people that can do editing. I can't edit. I have the artistic capabilities beyond the written word, I guess, of a potato. So we're going to go forward, making some more content and stuff for this channel, just to kind of get some stuff off my chest. Tell some stories. I've been playing this game for 14 years. I've been in the role-playing community for about the same time. No, probably actually about 10 years, maybe just 10 years. It's been now, probably. I've rubbed elbows with a lot of people, and I've got some really great stories to tell you guys. Some of these people are still my friends, so in the interest of privacy, some may never see the light of day, because I want to just make sure I'm not stepping on any toes before I go forward, and I want to get all my facts straight before I retell some of these great sagas of the RP community and the WoW community in general. I don't want there to be any bad feelings. I don't want there to be any drama, Stories certainly have villains, but, I'm still friends with a lot of these people, actually, in real life, so, I want to make sure there's no hard feelings before I, air the dirty laundry, so to speak. I'd like to think we're all kind of past stuff we did on World of Warcraft 8 years ago. So, getting back to the right-click reporting, we've already seen it get abused on PTR and beta. We've already seen streamers get abused by it. We see people get abused by it in retail. And it's almost never about their content. Just being better at the game is considered griefing now. And I know this is going to be crazy to Blizzard, but competition for nodes, bosses, rare drops, dealing with ganking, we had a way to deal with that back in the day. It was called fighting. It was called playing the game. Competition, as well as cooperation with other players, is a big part of what makes an MMORPG good, I think. I think it's why some of the best ones are built almost entirely around this formula. The most successful ones, at least. It's not just about you versus the world. It's all of you competing, for world firsts, to be Scarab Lord, to get those Devil Star skins, those Black Lotus plants, those thorium veins. It's all about competing to get these rare drops and, to be the world first in the community. That's what it's all about. As much as cooperation. And these communities, it wasn't the Wild West. People got banned for being shitheads. People got ostracized for being shitheads. We're big boys, I've heard the arguments about gold sellers and stuff, but I mean, that was going to happen regardless. And that was going to happen anyway, and there's ways to deal with that too. I'm pretty sure this right-click reporting thing is just a way to get around not hiring more GMs, but maybe if Blizzard treated their employees nicer, or, somebody was willing to take a pay cut to save their own friggin' company, they wouldn't need to do this. We would have an actual competent support staff. I'm not saying we don't have one now, but, we'd have more competent support staff. We'd have better staff to deal with this stuff. We wouldn't need this. So, going back to, the subject of these tickets and my opinions about Blizzard silencing people on the forums and all that stuff, I'm happy to share the screenshots of these tickets and these tickets themselves with anybody who wants to see them. I just need to edit out my personal information first, because there's a lot of personal information in some of these screenshots, and kind of inadvertently. I just did it spur of the moment, didn't want to lose them. And after I have a chance to edit them to get that personal information out, I am happy to, share the tickets with people, just prove that this is going on, and prove that Blizzard is either complicit with the problem, or they are not willing to address it, or they don't understand it. So let's get into the ticket, shall we? And we'll discuss the implications of all this a bit more after that. So basically, I kept getting these shadow bans and stuff, or not shadow bans, like temp bans and stuff. Couldn't figure out why. I get that I can be a bit verbose and hyperbolic when I write. It's just my writing style. My prose can be a bit abrasive, I guess. I get that. But it's not like I was trolling people, I don't think. I think I was griefing people, I don't think. I wasn't flaming people. Maybe a bit spicy. Maybe I was putting a little spice, in those posts, but nothing that violated COC that I've ever understood it to be. Nothing that violated TOS or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure it's against TOS and stuff to talk about discussions you've had with GMs and share tickets. But you know what? It'd have to be a real hat-in-hand situation between me and Blizzard before I would ever consider playing their games ever again. Given not just the implications of this tweet, but how they treat their games, how they've treated the IP over the past 8-10 years, the fact that nobody who made the game what it is really works there anymore, or if they do, they're completely complicit in everything that's going on to this IP, into this game. They've been complicit in all the changes. So I am not really willing. All my characters have been deleted already. The funny thing about that is, people are so precious about their characters now, I think, for one real reason. It's not because leveling is a long, arduous process. It's because leveling sucks now. Progression is terrible now. It's awful. It sucks. It's not fun. It's a rat race. It's terrible. That's why nobody wants to level up characters again or start over. That's why. People made alts all the time back in the day, because the game was fun. Now it's not fun anymore, Blizzard. But, hey, topics for another video, right? So let's talk about, this ticket. Let's read some of this, shall we? So, I like how the status is resolved. Oh, this is anything but resolved. Little Blue. This is anything but resolved. I'm consistently getting silences/temp bans on your forums, and I'd really like to know why. Profanity is completely banned on your forums in the first place now, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm continuously being banned unless it's become against the rules to criticize company decisions. Me? I think just totally banning the profanity from the posts is a good way to sort of compromise on the whole filtering thing, keep people from exploiting the filters. It's a good way to, I get that they have kids and stuff on the forums, and, they don't want that kind of stuff there. I can understand that. I can compromise on that, So let's see. So I got a response from the Blue. It took 24 hours, each time or more, for me to. These tickets about 2 days old. It took a while to get a response. All right. So the guy said, "Thank you for taking some time to get in touch with us, blank. I understand that you are concerned about your forums account. I should be able to find out what is happening." It's a bit weird. "After checking over your account, I'm not quite sure which forums account you were talking about. Do you have a link? Additionally, I recommend familiarizing yourself with our code of conduct, which I will link below. I'm also adding a few other forum links that may prove helpful in the future. The forum's moderation team." I know the code of conduct, Blizzard. I've been playing this game since 2004, okay? I've read it once or twice, okay? And a troubleshooting link. What's the troubleshooting page for this company has basically destroyed one of the greatest IPs in gaming history? Is there a troubleshoot for that? Do they have to reboot the company like my old fucking Windows XP? I'm just like, how is that first ticket, needs more info worthy, I'm wondering. I responded, "The classic discussion forums. I'm not sure which posts are getting me banned because the bans I keep getting served don't tell me what I did wrong. They just claim I violated the codes of conduct, but don't cite how. At this point, the ticket was marked as resolved. 19 hours ago at the time I took this screenshot. Here's where things get interesting, people. This is where things get really fishy. You know, it's a general principle of like U.S. law, you know, which is grounded in a lot of a lot of philosophy and stuff, that people have a right to face their accusers. They have a right to know what they're being accused of. You know, they have a right to that. And it really bugs me that it's not a social principle that we should abide by these sorts of principles in our daily lives. And that it also bugs me that the idea that companies, corporations, are somehow above that. They're somehow above respecting, you know, the ideas of freedom of speech, the ideas of equality, the ideas of, you know, freedom of expression, that they're somehow above that. It's always bothered me, personally. But, you know, so let's talk about, let's continue, shall we? Let's keep talking about this ticket. Here's where things get damning. You've been waiting for this for about 11 minutes now. Hey there, blank. After reviewing the account's record of forum violations, we have determined that the appropriate actions were taken and this account will not have forum privileges restored at this time. You will need to allow the current suspension to end. Oh. We're going to hope that the headset didn't die. We're going to take a look at our... Yeah, we're just going to hope the headset didn't die. Posted question was... Well, the current suspension to end. Yeah, well, what else am I going to do? The posted question was this one here. Can't wait for the SJW Thought Police to ban me for the crime of a differing opinion when really they're salty because they can't snag a node from me. It's one of the tweets that... one of the posts that Punkrat read, you know, in my larger one. I like how that they're ignoring that. I guess they just didn't bother to read that one. I think I made some valid opinions, you know, about like how this is going to be abused and how it's not a good thing when we already have a community that has a problem of, you know, abusing people like this. Please note that Blizzard Entertainment reserves the right to suspend access to these forums anytime for reasons that include, but are not necessarily limited to, repeated failure to abide by the community code of conduct. We regret to implement such actions, but at times it is necessary to maintain a positive forum environment. We ask that you familiarize yourself with the forum code of conduct to prevent future violations. Yeah, nice grammar there, genius. Very, very nice grammar there. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Wow, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, let's talk about that a bit, shall we? What part of that statement violates the forum code of conduct? What piece of that statement really violates the forum code of conduct? I don't understand it myself. I mean, I reviewed the code of conduct and I can't see, you know, how anything I did violates the forum code of conduct. Especially in light of my post later in the thread that clarifies my opinions on the matter, shows that, you know, I am literally just, you know, I don't want people who think they have the right to silence people for their opinions, you know, having the ability to do that. You know, like, that's just madness. I don't, you know, that's not something, you know, that's not something that I think is, you know, a good idea. I don't think that's something that is going to be a positive thing, you know, for this community. I just don't think it is. I just don't think that it's a good idea. So, that all being said, you know, where do we really kind of go from here? What is to, you know, what are we really looking at here? Okay, yeah. Okay, the microphone's definitely been working this whole time. Raw footage behind the scenes. You know, so that's really, so what we're getting from this ticket here, people, is that Blizzard is not only, you know, Blizzard's not only complicit with this sort of behavior, They see the people calling it out as a problem. Now, hey, maybe that's not Blizzard policy, but that's sure the impression someone would get from this, isn't it, Blizzard? I'm not sure how well Blizzard actually knows the Classic community, but they're the kind of guys who don't, in my experience, are not pro-silencing people on the forums. They're not pro-censorship. Just not, I mean, it's why a lot of us, it really comes down to a generational thing, I think, doesn't it? We're not bothered by the idea of server queues. We're not bothered by the idea of unstable launches. Like, look at the graphs from back in the day. Is the rising subscriber count all the people quitting playing the game because of unstable servers? I played in the age of dial-up, man. You know how frustrating it is to have to leave a frickin' multiplayer game because your friggin' aunt called your mom to talk some shit about Miss Susie in the church choir. You know how frustrating that is? Yeah, I still played video games. So what? Like, terrible internet, slow PCs, we still did it because it was worth it. I remember the days when 30 FPS was the best you were going to get, man. Like, that was it. You know what I mean? Like, and it was worth it because the game was fun. It was a fun game. The game's not fun in the current retail state. And Classic's not going to be fun either if they keep implementing changes. It's going to ruin so much of the experience, and there's going to be so many exploits. It's going to ruin the economy. It's going to hurt server interaction. It's going to hurt so many things. And people have pointed this out, how it actually happens. And I really don't think that Blizzard can fix it. I believe that the sharding and layering tech is something hard-coded in the engine, and it's an artifact of them using the current engine to recreate an old game. I don't think they really can take it out. People have told me they can, but it seems like they can't take it out. And anyone who knows anything about video game development cycles knows that they've been planning to do this for a while now. They just haven't told anybody. They've been working on this for a while. They haven't told anybody. The beta really serves two purposes at this point. Hype the game, that's why the streamers are in it. Get hype for the game, and minor bug test. Stress tests. That's all it is. They're not going to completely rework the game like less than 2 months from launch, no matter what we say or do, because they'll have to delay the launch. They'll have to delay it. They'll have to allocate more time and resources. I don't believe Blizzard's going to do that. I do not believe Blizzard's the kind of company that's going to do that, guys. I was already on the fence, but I was willing to let go some of the stuff with layering. I was willing to look at some of the pros and just let it go. But if you're going to be complicit with this kind of behavior, with this kind of censorship of your player base, I would challenge anyone to review my post history, the ones that haven't been deleted, because some of them have been deleted for seemingly no reason, and tell me where I broke the forum codes of conduct. Because, and I would be willing to admit that, hey, maybe I did. But it seems kind of odd to me that this seems to only ever happen to people who criticize the game, who make criticisms about the state of the game, about the direction it's going, about design choices, about implementation of features that nobody asked for, just because of this arrogant insistence that we need them, this arrogant belief that we have to have them in the game, this arrogant belief that they know better than we do. They know the kind of game we want to play. We don't know the kind of game we want to play. Like we're children, like we're stupid, like we need this sort of nanny system of this sort of like electronic nanny to police our behavior and our speech. It's crazy. It's insulting, It's absolutely maddening. But it looks like I've been right. Blizzard is at least a little bit complicit in silencing people for criticizing problems with the game. I didn't even really call out the whole SJW mindset here. I just insinuated that this will create a problem within the game, and people are going to use this to silence and ban people for ulterior motives, and it's going to lead to gameplay exploits. That's all I really said. I could be a member of Antifa for all you know, Blizzard. And, they've just completely disregarded, any criticism or any attempt to point out how this is a problem. They basically told me to my face that the concern I have, that pointing out the concern that these types of people who we're already seeing on the forums, who we already know exist in the game, who we already know do this kind of stuff, even before people were abusing report functions, people were already doing this stuff in communities, and we're already doing this stuff on servers and to guilds. We already know it's been happening. They want to completely. What they want to do is just they don't want to acknowledge that this is a problem. They don't want to acknowledge that this is going to hurt the game, or they're complicit. These are the people they want to play the game, not us. I told people years ago this may turn into a sideshow attraction to keep people playing and paying for a subscription. During retail's content droughts. I've theorized that's what this is going to be. They're not going to take it seriously as a product, no matter how successful it is. And they're going to keep implementing these quality of life changes. We're not going to have it. We're going to go back to our private servers, and we're going to be happy, and we're going to play video games, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. I'm not going to pay $15 a month to a company that is okay with stuff like this. I'm not going to pay $15 a month to a company that doesn't provide me a service that I want. I'm a grown man now. I'm not sacrificing my allowance money to play World of Warcraft. If there's a lot of things I could do with $15. Well, not a lot, but there's things I could do with $15 besides pay for access to a video game I don't want to play. Especially when I can get the game I want to play for free. So, take this with a grain of salt, guys. I fully believe that Blizzard is silencing people on the forums who want things to change. Ask yourself, is this the kind of company you want to trust with this IP again? Are these the kind of people that you want to trust with your IP? Not our IP, but with the game that we love. Is this the kind of business practice you want to put money towards? Is this the kind of thought policing that you want to deal with on a daily basis? Do you want to be involved in a community that is so distrustful of each other that we're abusing report functions to get people out of the game rather than just competing organically within the mechanics of the game, which is, again, something the game was designed around? Is that what we want? No. I don't think we do. I don't. I can't speak for you. I don't want it. This pretty much has cemented my decision, honestly, that I will have nothing to do ever again with official Blizzard products unless, like I said, it's a real hat-in-hand situation. There's a real change at this company. There's a real change in design philosophy. There's a real change in business practices. There's a real change in how they treat their employees and the kind of games that they're creating, None of this e-sport nonsense, okay? Give us back the MMORPG we love. Give us back the franchise that we love. Give us back the universe and the stories that we love. And just take this new stuff and put it in the dustbin where it belongs. Okay? Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll be making more content in the future. But, I'm a busy man. We'll see. I'll be cranking stuff out whenever I feel the urge to talk about these issues, and I can get some editing together to really sort of tie all of these various features, to tie all of my points together in a more succinct and interesting way than just me talking on my webcam for a little under half an hour. But do what you will with this information, guys. Have you been experiencing this? Have you been talking about, have you been critical of how Official Classic's turning out and Blizzard, and, have you been silenced unfairly? Do you feel like you've been, railroaded, censored, silenced, really for no other opinion or no other crime than, criticizing Official Classic for arguing with the people that are defending the changes to the game, which is not what we wanted, it's not what we were promised. Do you think that's happening to you? Do you think it's happening? Do you have proof? I mean, share it. By all means, let's blow the lid on this if it really is a thing. Alright. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys the next time I make a video, I guess.